Okay, today we are going to be tying a sparkle done, and I guess this is kind of an emerger pattern, and it's in a bluing olive color. So first we're going to start 2, 3, 4, 5, wrapping kind of towards the middle, and then we take that tag end and we take it towards the eyelet and we wrap once behind the tag end, and then we're going to trap it 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And that traps your tag end onto the hook shank so that you can now trim your tag end off. Now we're going to take, this is called nymph skin. It's like latex, it's kind of stretchy. And we're gonna cut it at an angle, which can be a little hard to do because it doesn't want to cut and stay right where you want it to be. All right, so that it looks kind of like that. Then we're going to come back a few wraps and we're going to capture that nymph skin, the little tip area. And what that does, the reason we cut it is because it tapers with the net, so that it's naturally smaller at the bottom and larger at the top. And then we're going to take some Zelon, which is basically yarn, and we're going to tie that in for the tail. And we're going to take about this much, and I'll give you this in class. It doesn't really matter how we get this on, so you put one wrap around it and you want it to be on top, so you just kind of pull it towards the top after that one wrap. And after you wrap it on a few times, you can cut the part that's up towards the eyelet. And then we're going to wrap this, because this, like I said, is kind of an emerger pattern, but it floats on top like a dry fly. So we take it quite a ways back. And normally I would tie the Zelon in first when you're tying something that you wrap, but this nymph skin wraps better and keeps that Zelon on top if you don't. So we're wrapping from this way to from your side away from you with the bobbin and the thread. So we're going to wrap the opposite way with this nymph skin. And the wraps are gonna be tighter, not even tighter, just closer together at the beginning, and then you're gonna start to make it slightly bigger. Oh man. And the thing I tend to forget is you need to wrap this thread all the way back up towards the front. All right, try that again. Same thing. And then about 2 eyelet lengths back, maybe 2.5, we're going to stop. And then I wrapped in front and then behind and then in front and then behind of this nymph skin so that I trap it up at the front and then you pull it and cut it. So now I'm going to get the thread all the way to right where you finished that nymph skin. And now we're going to take our post material, which I have this really bright post material. It's sparkle yarn basically, and you bend it in half like a U, like that. And then, you know, I hem and haw on which way to do this, whether to put the end that you U'd towards the back or towards the front, but I like it towards the front because we can then hide the little bit after we cut it a little bit better with the dubbing that we're going to use here in a minute. Then that's that little bit. And then we go behind this and then wrap that little bit down. And then we're going to start to drag this forward so that it stands straight up. And then we're going to make a little bit of a post with the thread itself. Sometimes it'll just come off like that if you anchor it again. Tends to want to stay put. All right. So that's our little post. Now I have some gray feathers that have already been sized, so they're sized to a size 14 hook. And I can explain that more in class. But this is that, and I'm going to peel off the little feather material so that I just have the stem to tie in. And then I take that stem and I tie it in. You're going to want to wrap up toward right in front of your post material. And then you'll have that little stem sticking out there, and you want to trim that off. Next, you're going to take your dubbing, and it's just this stuff here, and that's about how much you want. And I'll go over that in class too. And you just spin it onto your thread. That is a little much that I put on there, but if I think I have too much, I'll cut it off. And then you can go around. Actually ended up not being quite enough. So we're going to take just a little bit more. I'm just going to set that there. Now, take your feather, and we're going to twist it around the post material. Try not to catch your zeal on. And this can be difficult Practice will help you with this. And I like to go around 10 times. Sometimes it'll peel off just like it did there. Alright, now I'm going to take this and go around 3 times. And that locks that feather onto the post. Then I'm going to trim the feather, and I'm going to bring it back a little bit, and then right behind the eyelet, I'm going to start. I'm going to wrap a couple times, maybe 3. You can do as many as 5, and then I'm going to put half hitches in. What that is just basically a slip knot. And I'll go over that in class as well. They're actually a little more difficult than they look, but once you get them just like any other knot, they're pretty easy. Trim that off. You now trim the thread off of the hook. We're going to pull this up tight and trim the post material. And then we're going to take this, and this should be about the same length as the fly. So right about there. And now your Z-lon's cut. And that, we'll put some glue on it, on the thread, and that'll be your sparkle done emerger pattern with nymph skin. It's kind of my own design. I think it works pretty well. I'll see you guys in class. Thanks.